everybody, it's Paul. It's Friday. I'm just going to wait for 3 o'clock, and anyone that wants to comment and say hi, that would be great. Until then, I'm just going to hang out, talk about the feet in a minute. Working from my iPad instead of the computer. It seems to be a little better with lighting and the verticalness than sort of a weird formatting with the computer. It's all sort of horizontal and there's nothing I can do to change that. So anyway, so that's almost 3. Hey everybody. All right, so during the week we were talking about, hi everyone, it's Paul from Stretching Canada. It's Friday. Happy Friday everybody. Hope you're doing okay with the, hey Andrew. Great to see you, man. Yeah, during the week we were talking about working through the fascial tissues and the fascial planes from the top down, working through the shoulder girdle to gain access to the neck. And we were really focusing on our ability to open up those planes so we could breathe properly. And when we breathe properly, we were able to oxygenate better. And when we oxygenate better, it increases our mental acuity and make better decisions. And we're also able to calm ourselves a little better, especially in these times when things are not so calm. Oh, hey Jose. Jose Palomar, everyone from PDTR. I mean, the master of masters. I'm honored to have you here. So we were working our way down through the upper body to the pelvic girdle, and yesterday actually we were working through the internal and external obliques and opening up those lines again as it pertained to our ability to stabilize and breathe. Sorry, that's wires here. And now today I would like to sort of create a relationship with our feet and the relationship that the feet have to the ground so that we can stabilize a little better in terms of how we're going to stabilize. So we're not creating discrepancies in how our muscles work in the pelvic girdle and trunk and the thighs in the pelvic girdle, so that we're not using those muscles that we need to breathe with just to stabilize our bodies. So let me start with just a basic an assessment. It's a no judgment thing. We're just going to assess how our feet relate to the ground. So take a minute, take your shoes and socks off, and hope you're on a hard-ish surface. A carpet is perfectly fine. It just changes. I mean, our feet adapt to anything: hard, soft, cold, damp, and all that. So take your shoes and socks off, and then you're going to stand, and just stand in any position that is comfortable for you. So I tend to stand like this. You know, a lot of people sort of stand out like that, which is fine. We're not going to try and fix anything. I just want you to get a relationship with how your feet feel on the ground. And now take a breath in. And as you breathe out down through your lungs and into the pelvic girdle. Another breath in. And as you breathe out, breathe down through the pelvic girdle, down through your legs and out through the bottom of your feet. And now you're starting to feel where your feet are on the ground, and you're starting to feel where you are in space. And now focus on here. I'll just bring this up a little bit. I would like you to think about the triangle of the heel, the calcaneus, the bone here, that first big toe, the head of the metatarsal here, and the head of the metatarsal here. So you're creating a tripod per foot. And now go back to your standing position, think about each tripod, and again, without any judgment, just creating a somatic awareness, where you feel and how you feel in your body, where you are in space. So breath in, and as you breathe out down through those tripods and become aware of those 3 points on each foot. And as I breathe out this second time, earlier in the week, this time last week and earlier in that week, I noticed that I was kind of leaning to the left and a lot of weight from my trunk going into the left pelvic girdle. And nothing has really changed. It's a little less intense. I don't feel quite the same pressure on that side. So let me just do another quick assessment. If you can bring your heels and toes together, and on an out breath, I'm going to lift my knee up. And I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll fake it a little bit. There's a lot of this going on, which is consistent with what I was last week. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, lifting this leg. And before I even get halfway, I notice a lot of pressure in that first ray, that big toe jamming itself into the ground. I'll try again, see if anything's happened in my nervous system. It's better. You know, the nervous system learns from its mistakes and it finds a different way, and I can feel all kinds of other things. So what I was getting on the left side was a lot of this, supination, and a lot of pronation on the right. So wherever you are, we're not going to try and resolve this. I just want you to see that opening your feet can have a profound impact on your stance and your gait. But here, let me go back to, I'm going to go to the ground, and you're going to be sitting, you can either be sitting on a stool with, let's say, I don't have another chair here, but I have a yoga block. The idea being that you can either have your foot in front of you, or I have my couch is right here, or I tend to do this sitting on the ground because I'm a lot more comfortable on the ground than I am sitting and leaning forward. I should probably move my camera. Sorry, guys. Oh, look at all you people. Sharon, hi. Oh, Jill, yay. And Pavlina. Hey, Glenn. My man, young Glenn. So I'm going to do this. And again, I have a strap and a rope and a yoga block. And I often have a dish towel, which is probably where it's supposed to be, in the kitchen. And where we were early last week, or late last week, we were stretching, the gastrocs, the belly of the calf muscles. But for now, because I'm going to work down into the foot, I'm going to just bend my my knee slightly. And again, if you can't reach around, that's perfectly fine. You can use your dish towel. As we bend the knee, we kind of disengage the gastrocs, if you will. And we're going to move down, or it disengages a little bit, but we're moving down from the belly to the distal end, the far end of the gastrocs. 2, 3, and 4. Well, that wasn't really. So now I'm reaching up, 1 and 4 and 5. So I'm going to do both sides. And then as I go through both sides, I'll explain a little further what I'm doing. So starting in my natural position, active agonist contraction of the anterior tibialis and the digitorum, reaching the foot up and then gently assisting that. 4 and 5. So now, as I bend my knee further, or rather, let's say bring my heel closer to my body, the further down this line I'm going to go. So we've gone from the gastroc belly, distal gastroc, and now we're getting into the soleus, underneath the gastroc. So I'm going to go back to this, and again, you can use your strap, perfectly acceptable. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So I'm going to do a second set, and then I'm going to show you the variations that we need to get into. That was 5. So the variations meaning we're going up sort of in a linear fashion on that sagittal plane. And if we make a slight deviation to the outside laterally, what that's going to do is it's going to focus my attention on the posterior tibialis, which comes out from underneath this bone, travels underneath the malleolus or your ankle, changes direction and attaches to that toe. So if I reach out to the side and then go through that same action, agonist contraction here, sending a message to release here. 1, 2. Oh my God, I lost count on the way to 5 again. I didn't watch enough Sesame Street. Let's say that's 5. And I can really feel that pulling underneath the posterior, underneath the tibial bone. And then 2. And if this is uncomfortable, yoga block or, like a small stool, but for me that's too tall. I find I'm reaching. So let's go back to this. 1, 2. And as I'm doing this, I can feel the peroneal muscles or the fibulari firing up. So they're obviously clearly overworked from the sort of leaning to the left all the time. And I'm also doing a lot of kettlebell work and pretending that nothing is wrong on this side, and I'm actually adding to the problem. So that's 5. So now we've done, well, we were here, and now we're here. The closer you get, the further down you go, and the gastrocs, the calf muscles, and the soleus kind of share a tendon that we call the Achilles tendon. So the closer you can get down into that and do 5 in that format, this really close format, the better. And 5, and let me do 5 here. I'm going to go neutral, sort of straight up and down. 2, that's not even close enough. Now I'm feeling it close, really down into the heel. 4, and 5. And then of course I would do the same thing. Go to the side. Now one thing I've just overlooked, or really just forgot, was I would tend to do this, and then we've done the tibialis posterior, and then immediately go into the peroneal muscles. So I should actually add that before we go any further. So we're here, foot in, and then lift. And of course, you know, you can use your thingy thing, which is the technical term for it, if you didn't know. 3, 4, 5. And I do tend to be a little bit more methodical, so I'll go neutral, posterior tibialis, and then immediately do the fibulari. Woo! Here, I'm just going to do it without the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the Achilles. We've done the 5 here, and I've done 5 here. Now I'm going to add the tendons, the distal tendons of the fibula, of the peroneals. You can call them peroneals or fibulari. 3, 4, and 5. And I'm really feeling a little bit of work going on in there, which is consistent with the posture that I was just doing. Yeah. And so here I'm really feeling there's a tension. So these are, it feels like they've been sort of locked short and overworking. And what that's doing for me physically, for the therapists that get this, there's a compensation pattern on that right hip because of this. We can talk about that. You can message me if you're really bored. So I've done, you know, we've gone from gastroc, lower gastroc, Achilles, soleus, and the closer the heel comes to the body, the further down we're getting into the Achilles. So from there, I don't know if did I adjust this? Hello everybody. Hey Della. Lots of people, oh my gosh. So I was able to open up the lines of tension through here, but before I go anywhere, and this is really how I function, I have an Eric's pad, sort of a squishy pad, because it makes it a little bit more wobbly and harder to sort of find proprioception. But let's go back to where we were on the hard surface. Breath in and under, breath. Let that energy run down through pelvic floor into your legs. Another breath. And out through the legs and through the soles of your feet into the ground. And just as you're doing that, you're starting to become aware again of where your feet are on the ground. And now just having done those small adjustments with the stretches, I'm feeling a little bit more stable. However, I do want to monitor the progress that I might have made, if it is in fact progress. And I'm going to go back to this side, this side first. Heels and toes together. Some wires here, wire problems. Okay, heels and toes together. On my out breath, this is going to come up, and it's a lot quieter. It's gone down more than 50%. I still feel, I'll fake it, I'm still feeling this a little tiny bit, but better. It's just the muscles have been open and optimized. And then still feeling that sort of E version on this side. It's not as much. Now, before I go anywhere with this, I want to activate those muscles. So I'm going to go back to this position, and I'm going to go up onto my toes. So now you should be doing this, if you're not used to sort of being on your toes, maybe beside 2 chairs, or you can be in a door frame, just so you know that you don't want to pull yourself up on the door frame. Just know that they're there, and your brain will go, okay, I'm safe, you know? So breath in and under, out breath, come up on your toes as much as you can, and then 3, 2, 1. So it's a controlled ascent and a controlled descent. Let's just do 3 for the sake of time. 2, 3. And you're trying to use all the muscles that you've just opened up. But if you're sort of falling to one side, it's a clue for us. And you can call me or you can message me and let me know what's going on. And we can try and work that out together. It's 3. So 1, 1, 2, 3. Now, let's do the peroneals. For me, we'll see, but I have a feeling this will still be a little weak. But, not going to judge. Toes together, heels were where they were, and bring your toes together. So you're rotating your thighs in, and then on your out breath. And I really feel these peroneals firing up. I do. Let me know how it goes for you. Yeah, this one's really just not getting it. So, no judgment, just going to keep working through it. Maybe it'll learn. And it's the coming down part, and I can feel something compensating here. I'm going to do a couple more than the 3 I said I was going to do. For now, it's starting to be a little less, but I'm starting to feel a different compensation pattern. And now, let's get to the hard one, the posterior tibialis, because we tend to sort of fall into the middle, a lot of us. So, back to the position you're in, heels together, toes out. Keep your heels together, keep your knees together, keep your thighs together, and try not to do this. Okay, breath in. Ooh, hard. Now really feel these guys firing up. They're not burning yet, but I can feel them. You'll feel it through that toe, up under the ankle on the inside. Whoa, this guy is just, on the outside is firing up, and this guy is just not working on the inside. And I'm going to do 2 more just to sort of keep that going. And 1 more. Yeah. So now, what you can do is, we've done this before. Here, I'll just do this, and this, and come back so you can actually see what I'm doing. From there, I would go back into the toe work. Let's really see what I'm doing there. Sorry. You can be here on the ground. So we were just opening up these muscles as they pertain to the big muscles on the inside of the leg and the outside of the leg. From here, I would definitely go back and do what we were doing, toe, big toe, second toe, third toe. So you're doing the same thing, but just on a more, getting into the minutia of the foot. And then reassess, but because we don't have, half an hour, we only have like 15 minutes, so, oh, you don't have my hearing aids and I can't hear that, so, anyway, so we're getting close to the end, but there's something else I want to show you in terms of how to really find where your feet are on the ground. So you're going to put your feet in a fairly comfortable position. You know where the triangles are on your feet. Just sort of hammer those into the ground. Slap, slap, slap. Now I'm solid on the ground without moving your feet. And I stand like this quite naturally, but if you can bring your feet fairly parallel together, meet yourself where you're at. If that's as good as you get, that's fine. But try and bring them parallel without making any other discomfort. Feet, those triangles or those tripods are fixed into the ground. And on an exhale, you're externally rotating your thighs. So think of it like this. So if I go back to that same posture and I put my arrows here and I externally rotate, I'm bringing my back pockets together. So breath in. And then as I externally rotate, my glutes are firing and my back pockets are coming together like that. Now, what I'm noticing, and what I would like you to notice, is that my natural posture from the side kind of looks a little bit like this. I'm working on it, but just in the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, it's sort of fallen apart. I'm trying to strengthen certain muscles in certain areas. But just as I'm standing here giving this demonstration, I do feel, I'm exaggerating, of course, but it's a little bit like this. So when I plant my feet into the ground and externally rotate, without even trying to do this, I just come up. Everything comes up. And what that's doing for me, and I do this on a regular basis throughout my day, is just try and reassess where I'm at. And I notice that as I come up and everything calms down here, I open up the chest, which is where we were yesterday, without even trying. So you're not trying to open up, because if you're trying to do this, shoulders back, which is really making it difficult for the muscles in the back, it's not a fair assessment. So just working through your feet, through the lower legs, and then tightening the glutes in the back, you gain a better posture, and you gain a lot more strength from the stability of the core. And this is a nice way to just sort of find out where you are in space. And it's also just a really nice lower limb mobility thing. So the other assessment was, single leg stance, just to find out where we were. So really what we did was we opened up the gastrocs, soleus, Achilles heel, and then we did the deviations for posterior tibialis, and then the deviation for internal limb rotation for the peroneals. You can go into the toes. And just one more thing, if you have another minute, I'm not sure we can see this. Maybe if I just pop this down a tiny little bit. I use you can use almost any ball, but this is an Indian rubber ball, lacrosse ball. Golf balls tend to be a little bit intense. Tennis balls tend to squish, especially when they've been used a bit and they warm up. And what I do is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with just being totally random like this, and it feels really good. But because I have issues with the bones of my feet, I tend to be very methodical. So I'll work through the calcaneus side to side, anterior calcaneus. Then I'll do the metatarsal heads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then work the length of this longitudinal arch. So it looks something like this. Middle of the calcaneus, maybe 30 seconds of that, and then move forward. So I'm on the anterior aspect of the calcaneus, and then I'll go to the metatarsal heads, and then I'll go from one end to the other on that longitudinal arch. And I find that to be very helpful. If there's no time to do all the stretching, just opening up your feet and then adding, some strengthening that I showed. You'll see this, and it'll be on the website. It'll be on Facebook for a while. And I'll repost it as a YouTube so you can follow along. So if there's no time, you can use just the ball and then just add a little bit of, neutral work, toes in, toes out, and that can be enough. If you really want to challenge yourself, get an AirX pad or something squishy and stand on that and try and do it. It just makes it just a little bit harder. So I hope everyone's doing okay out there. It's a weird time, and I hope you're all okay. If you're not, call me, write me, tell me what's going on. If you have some questions about this, let me know. And I will do what I can to answer your questions. So thinking about you all, love you all, and that's my time. Don't want to keep you going on this too long, but really appreciate everyone. Hey, Kate, how are you? And Daniel, hey guys. Oh, Ryan, hey, hi. Anyway, guys, I hope you watch this again if you didn't get a chance to start with me at the beginning. And again, if you have questions, just give me a shout. Take care. I love you all. Bye.